Fallow, and welcome to the Fall Fallow Pod. Our aim at Fall Fallow is to combat plant blindness in everyone, everywhere. Plant blindness is a term coined by the botanists Elizabeth Schussler and James Wonders. They defined it as an inability to see or notice the plants in one's own environment. At Fall Fallow, our goal is to combat plant blindness by raising awareness of the many ways that we benefit from plants. We do this by exploring people-plant relationships through the Fall Fallow Pod. Our last episode was a broad overview of people-plant relationships, and we looked at the multiple ways that we depend on plants. But everyone has their own experiences with plants, and many times it is generational, where a parent or grandparent passes on their love of gardening or farming to a grandchild or a son or daughter. In today's episode, which is a special Mother's Day episode, I'm joined in the studio by my guest Nicole and her mom Nadine. And together we will talk about the love of plants that has been passed on from one generation to the next. So let's take a short break, and when we return, we will be joined by Nicole and her mom Nadine. Thank you. Please stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. And as was stated before we went to break, we will be talking about gardening that has spanned generations, and we will be delving a little more into that with Nadine, who has been able to benefit from that as a result of a family tradition that has been passed on. Nadine, could you please tell me a little more about how gardening has been in your family?
Yes. My father, when I was 16 years old, my father used to have a big, beautiful garden. He used to have a lot of plants. He started from seeds, and I did not want anything to do with it. Nothing at all until I got my own house. And he came and he put all these bushes and all these flowers. So I got to see things grow and come alive, and I really enjoyed it. So every year I would go and plant different plants, not knowing all the plants, and I didn't realize because of all the trees that I had in my backyard. I didn't have enough sun, and I used to be all upset. I would plant things during the summer, then they wouldn't come up. They wouldn't come up the next day. Then I started dealing with looking on the not on the internet, because there was no internet at that particular time. So I had to rely on friends to tell me what to do. And then now I got the certain flowers that I use in my backyard. It was the coleus, because they don't need sun. And so that's it.
Oh, okay. So I guess through trial and error, you found the plants that suits the environment that you have.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So I understand that knowledge you've been able to share it with your daughter, Nicole. And Nicole, I know that now that you are an avid gardener, and I wanted to talk to you about your relationship with plants. Could you tell me a little more about that?
Yeah, well, as my mom kind of mentioned, I learned much of what I know today through her and trial and error myself. There is the internet, so ChatGPT definitely helps me at times. But, I really just love to experiment with different things. I have the blessing of having all different types of sun in my backyard. So if I plant something somewhere and it's not the right spot, I can definitely move it. But it's been really cool to use and tap into my mom's knowledge and all of her friends. I'm always sending them pictures and saying, hey, should I give this more water or does it need more light? And it's just been really fun and a good way to bond with her and her friends by learning their knowledge from what they've learned from their parents and their family.
Okay, I understand. Now, Nadine, could you tell me when you first noticed the leaning in that direction? Nicole, seemed to, I guess, want to follow in your footsteps and embrace gardening the way you did?
Well, at first when she was young, still in high school and in college also, she didn't want to. She would come out and she would look, and then she would go. She would leave. She said she's not getting into dirt. But then
Oh,
she started when she got her own house, and she wanted all these flowers to be in
yeah.
her backyard. So she got interested in that. She wanted to go to the nurseries and to look at different plants, and she wanted to. But the plants she was geared to was it's they're not going to last. They would last like in maybe for 3 weeks or something, and then they would
Oh,
disappear, or they would get straggly. But I was
yeah.
trying to tell her, but I wanted to let her learn by herself,
Yes,
and
yes.
she did. She really did.
Yeah. Experience is always the best teacher.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So, what type of plants did you gravitate towards, Nicole?
Well, I can't remember some of the ones my mom was mentioning, but I do remember that they didn't last for very long. But some of the ones that I really love are sunflowers. I have an orchid that I've been brought back to life, so I'm really close to that plant. And then really, I have a nice sized herb garden, and so I use some of the herbs, to for tea, for medicinal properties,
Yeah.
lavender, calendula. So those are a few of the favorites.
What do you mean by brought back to life?
So I was gifted actually an orchid plant for like a housewarming gift, and it bloomed so beautifully for like one season, and then to me it went dormant, and it was just seeming like the plant would never bloom again, and so I actually dragged my mom to the store and made her get some fertilizer with me, and we put it in there, and then nothing really happened, and I just kind of gave up and left it there. And then the next season, I think it was as it was going into spring, I noticed all these little buds. And then ever since then, literally my orchid has been flourishing with minimal care at all. I think
Wow.
you can't
Yeah.
overwater it.
Yes, 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 that's true. Yeah. All right, let's take a little break. Let's take a very short break. And when we return, we will continue the conversation with Nicole and her mom, Nadine. Thank you. All right, welcome back, everyone. Nicole, we ended the last segment with you. Could you tell me what type of plants do you have, whether it's outdoors, indoors, or you have a mixture of both?
Yeah, so I have actually a mixture of both. I've got about like 9 or 10 plant babies that I have in my house, ranging from pothos to orchids, snake plants, ferns, hibiscus. That one I actually bring in and out depending on the weather. And then I have a nice sized backyard with all different types of sunlight. So I've got some raised garden beds, a garden bed like kind of closer to the grass,
Yeah.
and then just like natural landscaping and tons of plants in that area.
Yeah, yeah. And Nadine, I heard you mention, was it the coleus?
Coleus, right?
Yeah.
Coleus is good for shade. I have asters. I like a lot of perennials that come back every year, so I
Yeah.
don't have to be planting and everything. But I needed some flowers,
Color.
some color. So
Yeah.
I tried to get the not the traditional coleus, the ones that are
More exotic.
exotic.
Oh,
So I've been trying that, and it's been successful last year. I've started some from seeds, which I never wanted to do.
yeah.
Start from seeds, but when I saw them come up and how big they were, pretty, I said, "Oh, I'm going to try this next year."
Yeah.
And I actually have one of her King Kong coleus that she started from seeds at my
Yeah.
house now, and I've been propagating it to see if I can put it around my house this summer when it's time to bring the plants outside.
Yeah. So, in addition to the gardening that you do at home, do you do gardening in any other environment, or are you involved with any other organization where you can use that skill?
Yeah, so actually, I work for an herbal supplement company.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly using a lot of my knowledge about the herbs in my day to day work life all the time, selling
Yeah.
different supplements, and it's really helped me to learn about the different properties. And I feel like when you actually have experience working with the herbs and then translating that into supplements, people really want to kind of learn your knowledge,
Yeah.
and you're kind of talking about it more authentically than if you were just, you know, coming to work with no experience with plants at all.
Absolutely. You're more credible because you have the actual experience
Yeah.
and you know what you're talking about. Is there any that you can think of that that you have found really helpful, or any of your customers has found really helpful?
Yeah.
Without.
I would say the one plant that I actually was really interested in adding to my herb garden was calendula. It was actually presented to me by a friend. I'm a nutritionist, and one of my nutritionist friends introduced it to me when I was having really bad period pain. And it really helped to calm the period pain and kind of relax me as well. I'm using it as a tea. And so once I got my herb garden and my mom got me those raised beds, I was like, I have to get some calendula. So I want to make it, dry it out, and use it as an herb and say, like, I made this from start to finish. I feel like it makes you feel like really proud. And
Yeah.
then, like, just like you're making a recipe from scratch. It always tastes better. It's always kind of like looks better when you're doing it from the ground up. So I got my calendula and I've been growing it. Last year I didn't harvest it at the right time.
Yeah.
So this year I'm going to try it again and see how the process works. All about trial and error with the plants.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Nadine, are you involved with any other organization, where you can use the knowledge that you have?
Not in a traditional organization. It's just friends. I have four of us friends. We share different things on the internet regarding different flowers, how to grow things from seeds, how to make a what is those, the outhouse? I mean,
The
Greenhouse.
greenhouse. Yeah.
right? Yeah, but I'm not up to that. They are.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's too much work for me.
Yeah.
She's more about gardening ease. She likes to make things easy.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's take one more break, and when we return, we will try to tap into Nadine and Nicole's knowledge and see what tips they can give to beginning gardeners. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for taking this journey with us. Nicole, can we tap into your knowledge that you've gained through gardening and working with plants? Can you share with us any tip that you would give to someone who, let's say, is thinking about getting interested in herbs, or starting an herb garden or anything like that? Any tip that you can give them?
Yeah, I've got several. I'd say start small,
Yeah.
and pick things that you'd like and you maybe already cook with. Like, so if you like rosemary, you might want to buy some rosemary. I think my mom mentioned perennials. Like, perennials are something that's going to come back year after year. So if you want the bang for your buck, you're going to want to buy those. So they're going to come back every year and you won't have to replant them.
Yeah.
And then I'd say my last biggest tip is to have patience, because especially when you're starting plants from seeds, I lacked patience in the beginning, and I would think that a plant would have died or wouldn't come back to life or wouldn't, germinate.
Yeah.
And then I would kind of just like forget about it and then come back and be like, oh my goodness, look at it blooming. And I was about to give up on it.
Yeah.
So don't give up.
Thank you. And Nadine, can you share one tip with our listeners?
First, find out if you have sun
Yeah.
and if you shade, or what the environment is, and then just trial and error.
Yeah.
Pick things that you like. You go out to the different nurseries and you see that you like, and read the how to take care of it, and just be patient. Just be patient, and it's just all trial and error, I think.
Yes.
But pick things that you love.
Okay, thank you. This is a Mother's Day segment, a special Mother's Day segment. And of course, we can't conclude without some questions for both Mom and Nicole, for both Nadine and Nicole. So we're going to have a segment with some questions geared strictly to mom, the relationship between you and your mom, and Nadine, you and Nicole, and and say what you feel. All right. So Nicole, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to ask, how has mom influenced you?
My mom has been my biggest role model. She's really taught me grit and determination, and
Yeah.
really shown me the actual meaning of hard work.
Yeah.
And when I want to really give up, I always reference her, because day after day, she, puts her best and her all. And she's always going to want to make sure she does a good job with anything that she.
Okay. Thank you. Mom, what does Nicole do that you are very proud of?
I'm very proud that she has a mind of her own. She would speak with kindness to people.
Yes.
And she's just a wonderful daughter. And she listens to me sometimes.
Oh,
Most of the time she
Yeah.
does. She might fly off the handle, but she'll come back and just say, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, and give me a hug.
oh, yeah. And the final question would be: is there something that you do together that makes your bond even stronger?
When Nicole, she asked me to go with her to buy some clothes. She used to go with her friends, and she would never come back with anything, because they're there, but they're really still looking for themselves and not really paying attention to her. So she when she takes me, she can find anything, because I'm there to. When she takes off the try on something, she takes it off and she just gives it to me to do all the hanging up, all the stuff. And then she moves on, and we can go through about 15 outfits, and just like that, because I'm helping her. But I enjoy that, and she makes me feel good when she includes me into it, especially when we went on a vacation. I enjoyed going on vacation with Nicole and my son and my sister. We really had a wonderful bonding time when we went to Antigua, right? It was
Yep.
That's
Antigua.
nice.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Was it your first trip to Antigua?
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Was it during the carnival time or?
No.
Yeah.
they
They're
probably
known
would've
for
left us.
carnivals. Yeah.
I would love to go for a carnival. Let's go back.
I want to thank both of you for being such wonderful guests and for being a part of the show.
Well, thank you for having us.
Oh, no problem. It was a pleasure. To everyone else, thanks for listening. And if you enjoyed this hot pot from Fall Fallow, please tune in for our next episode. Again, I want to thank Nicole and Nadine and everyone who contributed to this episode. And until next time, remember this: if you take care of plants, they will take care of you. Thank you. Bye-bye.